makers, welcome back. Today we're doing a very easy and simple beach tutorial that has a starfish and a couple of shells to go with it. My colors today are blue, brown, yellow, red, black, and white. I have some mixing plates to mix up my colors, something with some water, some paper towels, and 3 different types of brushes. I have a square flat brush, it's nice and large, a medium brush that's flat but round at the end, and then 1 small pointy brush for fine details. Now, our first step is to create the base color for our water. So I'm going to be grabbing my big square brush and a mixing plate, and we're going to be mixing up a nice big scoop of white and a medium scoop of blue. We're going to mix, and we are going to identify where our water is going to be. So just up past halfway on the left side, we're going to start there and then wiggle all the way down to the bottom right-hand corner. We are going to be filling in everything below that line with this blue. Now, I'm not going to be cleaning off my brush. I'm just going to be taking little bits of my blue and yellow and white and streaking those in, keeping the curve of my water. And we want to do this while our paint is still wet so they blend in nicely. Now, taking our medium brush, we're going to grab a little bit of white paint and shimmy some of this along the edge of our water to sort of dilute it out or to make it fade at the edge. Now it's time to create our sand color with our big square brush. We're going to grab a scoop of white, scoop of yellow, and a small touch of brown. Mix, and we're going to fill in everything above our water. Once we fill in our sand, we're going to take a little bit of white paint on our brush and we're going to put it along the edge where it touches the water and fade it out. Then with our medium brush, we're going to get into some brown paint and put a couple of little sand texture marks throughout our sand, just tapping it all over the place. And then with our small pointy brush, we're going to take some white paint and dot a whole bunch around the edge of our water where it touches our sand. Now, next, we're going to be adding a bunch of texture to our water. With our small pointy brush and black paint, we're going to take most of it off our brush, so that we're basically dry brushing all these little lines in. Keeping the curve of your water, we're just going to sketch them in almost like you would do a bunch of pencil marks or a bunch of pen markings. And we're going to do the same thing with white towards the top of our water. Now we're going to be focusing on our starfish. So I'm going to be grabbing a scoop of red, a scoop of yellow, and a very small touch of white with my small pointy brush. We're going to pinpoint where we want our starfish to be, and then we're going to drag 5 lines in towards that center point like a star. Once you have your base lines, then we're going to be rounding out the corners where they all touch and meet together. While that's still wet, we're going to grab a little bit of white paint on our brush and we're going to stipple in the white starting from the center and then letting our paintbrush run out of the paint as we come down each arm of the starfish. Then we're going to be taking our medium brush in white paint and adding a sand dollar next to our starfish. A lovely little circle about the size of a cutie's orange is perfect. Once that's done, we're going to be creating sort of a brown-gray color with our small pointy brush, grabbing a little bit of black, white, and brown and mixing them together until you get a color you like, and swishing just a little bit of this color along the outside edges of our sand dollar. Now, using that same color and same brush, we're going to be drawing these tiny little oval shapes in the same pattern as, say, our starfish. So you'll have like 1 arm at the top, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 2 at the bottom. Now, next up, we're going to be creating a really dark gray, mixing together a lot of black and a little bit of white and adding a couple of lines to our sand dollar, 1 per little oval we created. Next up, we have a little shell in the bottom corner. We're going to be using our small pointy brush and mixing up some white and red. Then we're going to start with a swirling shape that swirls clockwise and out to the side, and then we're going to kind of fill in that shape. It almost reminds me of like a cartoon high heel in a sense. So it's round on the left and more squared over on the right. Then we're going to be mixing up some more white in our pink to make it lighter, and we're going to be mimicking that same swirl that we did so that part of our shell is lighter and part of our shell is darker. Next up, we're going to be adding some shadows to all of our little creatures and shells that are sitting on our sand, using our small pointy brush in black paint, drawing a couple of black lines around the outside edges. Our last step is to mix a dark brown with some brown and a little bit of black, and we're adding a couple of dots throughout our sand and along the edge of our water to give a sand texture. Now, once you're done with your painting, we'd love to see how they turned out at home. Feel free to post on social media and tag us at muse_paintbar so we can check them out. If you want to see more from our channel, make sure you like and subscribe. And with that, don't forget to always paint outside the lines.